long time, I thought effort was the problem. It wasn't. See, I heard a parable that stuck with me once. There was a man who really planted a seed exactly the way he was taught. He chose good soil, he watered it daily, he studied how seeds grow. Still, the seed barely sprouted. Others nearby planted seeds as well. The difference is theirs grew fast. Some even produced fruit he couldn't explain. He assumed the seed was the problem. So he worked harder, adjusted more, learned more. But one day, he carried the seed to a different ground. Nothing about the seed changed. Nothing about the effort changed, but the soil was different and everything grew. Hmm. Hmm. See, that parable describes a season of my life literally almost down to the T. To the T. And I want you to realize one thing I realized in my life was that in any season, in every room, in every environment, every situation, you're either the seed, the soil, or the saboteur. Okay? The seed, soil, or saboteur. And it takes a lot of discernment to realize which you are in every situation. See, a few years ago, I walked away from my PhD path in neuroscience. Not because it failed or I was failing or I didn't think I could do it. I literally just left Iowa shadowing by a top recorded neuroscientist, published crazy. I mean, he was the last name, last and first name, everything. That's how long he's been around, if y'all into academia. I mean, he was an old guy too. Bald, looked like Professor X, but he had a farm. I was flatland. He had a farm. In his farm, he had a rope, a long rope, like a gym rope that he would climb every morning. Cool guy. I mean, you could look me up. You'll see me on the little cohort. But I say that to say it wasn't because I was failing, but it was because I knew I wasn't meant to stay there. Simultaneously, at the same time, I was running a marketing agency that was pretty doing some decent income. On paper, things looked fine, but internally, I felt stuck. I always felt like individuals always had a voice, but they never had the vehicle, or even they had a purpose. They just didn't have the platform. And I felt like the marketing agency was a way for me to serve that. See, I didn't know exactly where I was going. I didn't. I just knew effort wasn't the issue. I was showing up. I was putting in the reps. And around that time, I made a decision to invest to myself. Earlier that year, I did 6 grand for a personal development deal. And I was taking in the deal, pouring into myself because I had no idea what I wanted to do or what the situation was. But I knew that if I wanted a bigger life, that was going to require a bigger me. So I say, you know what? I'm gonna pour the money into my mind and let my mind pour into my pockets and pour into my purpose. So I did the 6 grand and slowly I got the awareness that said, hey, listen, I'm getting some mindset, but I have nowhere to apply it. So I did another 6 grand, 7 grand. Okay, now I got some skill sets. Let me learn the skill set side, the professional development. And you fast forward, all those quick investments into myself earlier in that year set me up for which I had no idea was an investment completely oblivious to me, maneuvering me into my next season. That 1 to 2 decisions, those seeds I planted earlier in the year, were what changed my proximity. See, I went to Cancun at that time. It was like May, April or May, going into June. And I was there for a family trip. I got back and I was outside looking at the stars because I'm that type of person. I love to stargaze. And I was looking at the stars and I was like, let me just get on Facebook. I thought Facebook was for old people. And someone reached out to me. I was like, oh, you're into this person's material? I am too. I'm big on the mind. So I was like, let's connect. Little did I know, shortly after, I found myself in Orlando at a leadership retreat. They re the leader was in rooms around giants in business and personal transformation that I had no exposure to. Just for the 4 days, I don't think I qualified to be there. I snuck in pretty much. And I went upstairs to the movie room and I went down to the sauna and all them places. They spent about 88 grand for a couple of days. And my awareness was just shaken up. There was different rooms, there were different conversations, there was a different caliber of collaboration. And what really stood out the most to me wasn't tactics or even strategies. It was really how much momentum came from people and not information. When we were in that retreat, literally they did a couple million and it took them to do most of the month to do a couple million. And in the last 2 or 3 days, when Naya showed up, they did another million collectively, pouring in their resources. What took them several days, 14 plus days, they did in 3 days because everybody was playing the same music. That's big. That was so big to me. Collaboration moved faster than anything I've learned alone. Same brain, same work ethic, completely different growth. Completely different. And that's exactly when something clicked for me. See, most people don't have an effort problem. This westernized ideal of pull yourself up by your bootstraps and all that, people have effort. They're trying. Some try more, some try little, but they're trying. That's not the problem. The problem is an environment. They have an environment problem. No one woke up and said how to go broke, how to have bad relationships, how to have bad health, how to have bad mental health. How did they learn it? Their environment taught them. Every day we're getting taught something new by our environment. And that's when I realized growth isn't just about learning more. It's really about unlearning what you already learned. It's really about who you're learning around. See, business is a contact sport. Growth is a contact sport. And if your net worth isn't where you want it to be, sometimes the move is work harder. But more times than not, it's to change your net until it works. Until it works. See, for me, my story stopped feeling like a limitation and it became a platform. It stopped being the prison that set limits on me and start being reach for me to see the next individual. And that's exactly why I care so doggone much about rooms, about proximity, about collaboration, because it's hard to see the picture when you're still in the frame. When you're in the movie, you can't see the trailer. So if you're working hard, if you're doing the right things, if you still feel stuck, maybe, just maybe, maybe if just hopefully you agree that it's possible. It's a possibility that maybe the seed, your gift, your idea, your vision, your integrity, maybe the seed isn't the problem. Maybe the soil just needs to change. I believe the question we're all asking ourselves today, myself included, is where in our life might environment matter more than effort right now? Hmm.